I would say most of our lives are devoted to the consumption of this media, and that means that it's always going to be sort of a career opportunity for students. And because it is an arts class, we do everything. We study the compositional aesthetic of the stories. We study the history of filmmaking and developments in technology. And then also students have the opportunity to create films. And the students in Film 1 create 3 significant projects in the course of a year, along with a number of smaller exercises and everything from lighting to editing.
Where's your key light? Our key light is on the right, our fill light is on the left with the blue, and our backlight is the orange one in the back.
Senior year, because there were like 8 kids in the class, they almost met like little production meetings. So we'd come in, and then Thumm would, Thumm would like organize us, and we basically just like do a meeting. So like we talk about like the script, and then we figure out lighting stuff, and it was really awesome. So like my entire senior year was really hands-on filmmaking. I made 3 narrative films my senior year, and that wouldn't have been possible without the guidance, the structure, the people, and the organization of the film program.
We go into study of story. Students break down films. Like 90% of all films are able to fit the linear 3-act story structure, and so we look at that until they can't look at a film without thinking of 3-act structure.
We don't really have rules as far as creativity goes, and we can pretty much make whatever we want as long as it's tasteful and as long as it gets a good moral or a good point across.
The fact that we get to make films, that's something that's an opportunity that you don't get a lot of places. It's something that is in itself valuable to get this kind of an opportunity. I mean, you look around you and you see a set and computers, and right now you're using like film equipment that not everyone gets a chance to use.
Equipment's always available. I think if you're one of those people that's really late, like 3:15, you know, on a Friday afternoon, and you come rushing in, hey, Miss Thumm, I need a camera and a tripod and a dolly and a green screen, it's like, okay, maybe not all of that's gonna be available, but generally, if you plan ahead, you have equipment available.
My experience was, before coming into Chaminade's film program, you know, like messing around with the camera, doing little stuff, and then just seeing movies, so like trying to do that stuff. And so at that point in my life, I had a toolbox with a couple of tools, you know? And what's so cool about the program is Thumm teaches you about, you know, like different angles, different styles, different genres of filmmaking, like what you're using, the equipment you can use. So all of a sudden, before you come in here each year through the program, you get a little more tools to your toolbox, you know, more paints in your paint kit. And finally, by the time you're done, you're like, wow, like, look at all of the paints and tools I can use to make films.
I mean, I've learned a lot just from, you know, just from being here, a lot of things from just how, I mean, things I've written, things I've worked on, and my advice Miss Thumm's given me, and I thought it was very good at telling me to learn. I mean, so I think she's told me that I've used, and I've tried to continue to use.
My favorite part of film class has to be watching movies and analyzing them. I mean, I love making them, but in class it's harder because you have a specific group of people that you have to work with. But I really love talking about films, like watching them and being able to like have an intelligent discussion that you don't get to have in the theater or with your family.
And I like to be a collaborator, an inspiration, and a cheerleader, which honestly, that's what every one of your teachers should be. I just have maybe more opportunities to be nutty about it than maybe a science or math or English teacher gets to.
It's kind of interesting because the 3 years we've been here, I mean, at least me and Julian personally we've had 3 different instructors for the film program, and it's kind of interesting to see how much it's grown since the very beginning. I mean, just even looking around the classroom, you can see we've had a lot of new, nice additions, and especially with the equipment we use now. I mean, it's just, I really appreciate what we have access to, and it's easier to appreciate it considering we didn't have it when we were here for Film 1.
Like I got like a bunch of teachers, and it was really cool, like different experiences and stuff. But yeah, no, it's like I've loved all my teachers, and I've never had huge epic fights over films. Like you know, like of course when you're making a film, like people are gonna butt heads, but nothing crazy.
I inherited the program from Paula LeBreau, and she'd built it to be a strong program. So when I inherited it, I already had a full teacher course load of 5 classes, and I think that I've just taken it to the next logical place by building the studio and the classroom, and by adding the computer editing stations and acquiring, you're using some of the lights right now, by acquiring some light kits that students can sign out So sort of just taking it to the next logical filmmaking place.
Before, I could not edit. Now I can edit slightly. You know, that's a work in progress. I have 2.5 more years to get that one up and running. But I'm also 10 times better at actually, you know, shooting a film, which I'm still not A+ material, but, you know, I'm good with that.
I've learned, like, everything I know about film I've learned in the classes, and the club is basically just like all of the film geeks, for lack of a better word. I'm a proud film geek. Put together, and so that just makes it, that's like an extra class, and so it's really great to have that creative environment.
Every class was awesome, like, because I had very bad senioritis, and so like I found myself not going to school, like a reason to go to school became, oh, but I have film.
I really want to be part of making a really good movie that, you know, someone can completely fall into, and so I just love taking film classes because I want to be able to do that, like, properly.
One of my favorite parts about filmmaking is being able to shift an audience's emotions.
I think film is like the absolute greatest form of art, because if you think about it, every other form of art is within itself. You know, like photography, like framing, like you know, like painting, like composition and texture, and like the look of the film and the colors within it. You know, acting, which is like, you know, play, like writing, like, you know, like novels and playwrights. You know, like script, and then like, you know, direction. All like it's every music, like every single form of art comes together, and then the result is a film.
My favorite part of just film in general is directing. I want to be a director when I grow up, for sure. It's an amazing, amazing thing to do. I also really do love screenwriting and acting. If I could be like a triple threat, that'd be my dream, but probably not.
Personally, I don't think I'm really looking to become a professional filmmaker. I think it's useful that it's a creative output that you don't get in a lot of just strict academic courses and clubs like speech and debate, which is one of the other clubs that I do. You know, it's mostly just one side of the brain, and this club gives you a chance to sort of explore the other side of the brain.
I've done most of it. I've co-produced before, but usually what I do is I write and direct all my films, and then I sometimes act in them. And then as far as pursuing, I want to pursue all of them equally. I want to kind of like Woody Allen it, but with like serious films.
It's exciting when a student enters the room saying, I have this idea, I want to make this, or I have this image in my head and I want it to be a film. And as the teacher, to be able to say, one, why is that interesting to you? What do you want to do with that? And then two, how can we make that happen? So in terms of the filmmaking process as a teacher, there's something really alive about being in a classroom where even I'm not sure. I mean, I can say, yes, we will all make a narrative film, or yes, we will all make documentaries, but the stories come from the students, and that's something I love about the whole creative process.